Hello, myself Dr. Anuj Kumar Puriwar from School of Engineering and Technology, IGNOU, New Delhi. Welcome to all in this course, Pollutant and Water Supply. Today I am taking the first lecture on Introduction and Environment. As we are seeing in this picture, there are two pictures. Left side picture is in dull color and right hand side picture is in the bright color. In left side there are lot of human activities who are polluting our environment. So our picture is dull and our life will be the dull like this picture. In the second picture we are living with harmony with the nature. There are lot of greenery, rainbow is generated in fresh sky, clean sky, and there is a water body, fresh water body is flowing, and we are using the clean energy technology, so our environment is healthy, so our life will be healthy like this bright color. So come on the introduction part. Throughout history, mankind has adapted to the natural variation of the earth system and its climate. But today, mankind has begun to match and even surpass the forces of nature in changing key earth system processes. Humans now have the capacity to alter the earth system. Over the past 2 centuries, both the human population and the economic wealth of the world have grown rapidly. These two factors have increased resource consumption significantly and evident in increased agriculture and food production, increased industrial development, increased energy requirement and production, and urbanization. Effects: exhausting of fossil fuels reserves which were generated over several hundred million years. More than half of the accessible fresh water on the earth is used directly or indirectly by mankind, and underground water resources are being depleted rapidly in most of the areas. In urban areas where construction activities are going in increased pace, so they are using the underground water for their construction purpose, and underground water is going depleted. Coastal and marine habitats are being altered. Extinction rates are increasing in marine and terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem, we can take the example of the forest. This terrestrial ecosystem exists on the land. The concentration of several climatically important greenhouse gases have increased in the atmosphere. When these greenhouse gases increase in the atmosphere, there will be the more heat will be trapped in the earth, so there will be the problem of global warming, and directly indirectly other problem will happen if there is a global warming. In this picture we are seeing a person visiting a tourist place and want to click the coral reef. This is 1950 and he is very happy on clicking or taking picture or coral reef. But in 2020, a person moving down in the ocean or sea water, but he is finding no more coral reefs there, and he is attributing the coral reefs which were available in that ocean water. Now comes on the environment. Environment is derived from the French word environ, which means encircle or surround. Environment is totality of circumstances, surroundings, an organism or group of organisms, especially the combination of external and physical conditions that affects and influence the growth, development, and survival of organisms. Environment may be divided into two groups: biotic environment and abiotic environment. Biotic environment having the group of living organisms, and abiotic or environment having the non-living things. The living things are human, plant, animal, bacteria, fungus, protozoa, virus, and non-living things: water, soil, air, mineral, light. These non-living things may help directly or indirectly in the development of the living thing. Type of environment: natural environment and man-made environment. In natural environment, the environment that comes in its existence by its own or naturally, without the influence of human being. It operates through self-regulating mechanism that is known as homeostasis. Man-made or anthropogenic environment: the environment which has been modified by human activities is called man-made environment. When in a specific area, temperature, humidity, etc. are controlled by the scientific technology which is the result of human brain is deteriorating the natural environment. As we are seeing nowadays, we are sleeping in the night in the ACs, we are using the ACs, so they are giving the comfort all of us, but indirectly they are creating the man-made environment and finally polluting the one or another way our environment. Segment or element of the environment: there are three segment or element of the environment: atmosphere, that includes air; hydrosphere, that includes water; lithosphere, that includes land or soil. These elements together affect the life of organism and characteristics in a particular region. Now comes on the environment. Atmosphere: it is a blanket of suspended liquids, solids and gases that envelop the earth. It extends beyond the earth's surface up to many hundred kilometers. The presence of life on earth is attributed to atmosphere, which is the prime source of following entities: oxygen, which is essential for life and essential for our respiration. This is available in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, which is essential for photosynthesis, which is also available in our atmosphere. This carbon dioxide is used by the plant for the production of their food. Functioning of wind, storm, snowfall, rain, etc. also happening in the atmosphere. Formation of clouds, weather and climate, all these are governed in the atmosphere. Another important function of atmosphere is to act as a canopy to provide protection to the earth from solar effects such as excessive heat during daytime. In daytime, when sun is in straight with the earth, so that time a lot of heat comes from the sun. So there is atmospheric constituents available who absorb these heat, and so less heat enter in the earth system. Cosmic effects such as excessive radiation all times available from the sun, which is again absorbed by the constituents of the atmosphere. Excessive cold by preventing the loss of heat at the night. We can say this term as a, if this atmosphere is not available, then most of the heat which enter in the earth will go back in the atmosphere, and our earth will be the cold as compared to nowadays. So heat is necessary for the our survival of the living organism. So this atmosphere to prevent us from the excessive cold. Structure of the atmosphere. Troposphere. It extends up to an average altitude of 12 km from Earth's surface. It is most dense and contains about 75% of the total atmospheric mass. Formation of clouds, storms, and thermal convection occurs in this region. And due to this thermal convection, wind uh, and rain also happening. It shows a fall in temperature with rise in altitude. The temperature fall is almost at a uniform rate of the 6 degrees centigrade per kilometer. The temperature varies from a global average value of 17 degrees centigrade at the Earth's surface to about minus 55 degrees centigrade at its farthest altitude, tropopause. Stratosphere. It extends up to a mean altitude of 50 km. Main activity in this zone is absorption of ultraviolet radiation by ozone. Temperature becomes 0 degrees centigrade near stratopause. Mesosphere. It extends up to about 80 km. Main activity in this region is burning of meteorites and their disintegration. It shows a fall of about 2.5 degrees centigrade per kilometer with increase in altitude. Minimum temperature reaches to about minus 7.5 degrees centigrade near mesopause. Thermosphere. It extends up to about 400 km. Main activity in this region is the high kinetic energy of gas molecules. The temperature rises gradually up to about 500 degree centigrade. Sorry. Ionosphere. The ionosphere extends approximately from 100 to 400 km. Main activity in this region is the presence of ionized particles whose effect is to reflect the radio waves. Exosphere. This is the uppermost portion, which practically we can say, but theoretically there may be the hyperspace. But this portion is available above the ionosphere. So in this figure, we are looking the variation of the temperature with the altitude. So first layer near about our Earth, troposphere, then stratosphere, then mesosphere, and finally we can say in practically thermosphere. So in this figure we are seeing the variation of the temperature. Initially we are looking temperature is decreasing in troposphere, then stratosphere temperature again increasing, then mesosphere again decreasing, and finally this is increasing in the thermosphere. Hydrosphere. This segment of global environment consists of hydro. Hydro means water. Water related region comes under this hydrosphere, such as reservoir, lakes, streams, rivers, seas, oceans, glaciers, and polar ice. According to an estimate, the hydrosphere contains about 1.36 into 10 to power 9 cubic kilometer of water. Means we can say a lot of water is available on the earth. Of this, about 97% is contained in ocean and seas. So we can say how much water is available for our utilization, because 97% is contained in the ocean and seas. About 2% is logged in glacier and polar ice. So again this is not useful for us. And the rest, about 1%, is available in lakes, streams, rivers, and underground resources. But this 1% completely we cannot utilize for our purpose. So only 1% of this 1% is available as a fresh water, we can say available for human consumption. Lithosphere. It is the top crust of the earth. The ocean basin and continent lie on it. The crust thickness varies widely. Being in continental region, average thickness is 40 kilometer, and thickness in the ocean basin where its thickness is about 10 to 12 kilometer. The uppermost layer of the soil, which is few meters thickness, we can say, not much thickness, if we looking it from ground to go toward downward. So we are talking about the only few meter. So it is a very important reason of the lithosphere. It is the because the major biological activities occur in this region. It contains organic matter and is a source of producing food for animals and human beings. Also, the major biological activities and decomposition of organic waste is carried out by a host of microorganisms in the soil. The lithosphere constitutes only 30% of the total surface of the earth. Remaining 70% is taken up by the ocean. Now this is the all about the environment, and now we are talking about the some important days known as the environmental calendar. For creating environmental awareness, there are several days of special environmental significance which can be celebrated in the community to educate and involve people towards the cause of environmental protection. World Water Day. In 1992, the UN General Assembly designated March 22 of each year as the Water Day for water, to create awareness among the people to focus on conservation and preservation of water. World Health Day. The day marks the anniversary of the World Health Organization (WHO), which came into existence on April 7 in 1948. The day is celebrated to draw attention towards personal sanitation and hygiene so as to understand the issues of public health and occupational health. World Earth Day. The day was first celebrated by Earth Day International, a non-government organization in USA, to draw attention of the people towards increasing environmental problems caused by the humans on the earth. Since then, the World Earth Day is celebrated every year as an international event, reflecting that all major environmental threats are global in scope, and it is celebrated on April 22. The theme of the day has been illustrated through a play that is taken on the occasion and is called Earth Plays, which reads, I pledge to act to the best of my ability to help make the earth a secure and hospitable home for present and future generation. World Environment Day, June 5th. The day marks the anniversary of the historic United Nations Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm, Sweden in 1972. The conference resulted in the formation of the United Nations Environmental Program. This is popularly known as the UNEP. World Ozone Day, September 16. The International Day for Prevention of Ozone Layer is celebrated every year on September 16 to make public aware of the ozone depletion problem. The day marked the signing of the Montreal Protocol in 1987 to control the production and consumption of ozone depleting substances. Green Consumer Day, September 28. The day is celebrated to create awareness among consumers about various eco-friendly products and their advantages. People should be made aware about reducing packaging and cut down on use of the plastics. National Pollution Prevention Day, December 2nd. The day is observed to pay tribute to the memory of thousands of persons who lost their lives in the Bhopal gas disaster that occurred on the night of 2nd or 3rd December 1984. The day is celebrated to make industries aware of the need to comply with the provision of pollution control acts. Now, different environmental movement in India. Bisnoi movement. The Bisnoi movement believed to have been started by a sage called Sambhaji 400 years ago in Rajasthan. People worship trees and resist cutting down. Silent Valley movement, an environmental movement against a 75 megawatt hydroelectric project on Kuthi Pujwa. This is a tributary of Periyar River on the dense evergreen forest region of Western Ghat. It is home of many rare species of plants and fauna which would have been destroyed by the summer sands after after constructing this hydroelectric project. Chipko movement. The people of Mandal village started their struggle against deforestation of in Chamoli district, which is at present in Uttarakhand, in 1973. The movement received the leadership Gaura Devi, Sundarlal Bahuguna and Chandi Prasad Bhatt. Narmada Bachao Andolan, a movement for proper rehabilitation of 1 lakh people being evicted for building a rupees 1000 crore multi-purpose project over Namda River. The movement is led by Baba Amte and Medha Patkar and Aridhanti Rai. Now, creating the inspiration, there are certain environmental awards was given to individual or organization for their contribution towards the positive environment. Indira Gandhi Paryavaran Puraskar to an organization and individual for significant contribution in the field of environment. The Indira Priyadarshini Vraksh Mitra Award to an organization and individual for significant contribution in the field of afforestation and wasteland development. The Mahavraksh Puraskar to an organization or individual for trees of notified species having the largest girth and height and in good health and vigor. Rajiv Gandhi Environmental Award for Clean Technology to industrial units that have made significant contribution towards development of clean technologies and innovative solutions to environmental problems created by the industry's operation. So mainly to promote the industry, there is the award. This is the Rajiv Gandhi Environmental Award. पर्यावरण एवं वन मंत्रालय विशिष्ट वैज्ञानिक पुरस्कार to encourage original applied research among scientists in the ministry and its associated offices and the autonomous bodies. Environmental related acts. No, now if a person is violating the our natural resources or creating some pollution, so there are some acts are also available. The Indian Forest Act 1927, the act to consolidate and reserve the areas having forest cover or significant wildlife, to regulate movement and transit of forest produce and duty leviable on timber and other forest produce. It also defines the procedure to be followed for declaring an area to be a reserve forest, a protected forest, or a village forest. It defines what is a forest offense, what are the acts prohibited inside a reserve forest, and penalties leviable on violation of the provision of the Act. The Water Act 1974, the Act to provide for the prevention and control of water pollution and the maintaining or restoring of wholesomeness of water for the establishment with a view to carry out the purposes aforesaid of Board for the Prevention and Control of Water Pollution, for conferring on and assigning to such boards power and function relating thereto, and for matter connecting therewith. Actually, this language is specifically mentioned in these acts. The Air Act 1981, an act to provide for the prevention, control, and abatement of air pollution, for the establishment with a view to carrying out the aforesaid purposes of boards, for conferring on and assigning to such boards power and function relating thereto, and for matter connecting connected therewith. These two are specifically for the first one is the Water Act 1974 for the water prevention and control, and the Air Act 1981 for the prevention and control of the air pollution. The Forest Conservation Act 1980, Act of the Parliament of India to provide for the conservation of forest and for matters connected therewith or ancillary or incidental thereto. It was further amended in 1988. The law extends to the whole of the India. It was enacted by Parliament of India to control further deforestation of forest area in India. The Environmental Protection Act 1986. In the wake of the Bhopal gas tragedy, the Government of India enacted the Act under Article 253 of the Constitution. The purpose of the Act is to implement the decision of the United States Nations Conference on the Human Environment. They relate to the protection and improvement of the human environment and the prevention of hazard to human beings, other living creatures, plants, and property. The Act is an umbrella legislation designed to provide a framework for central government coordination of the activities of various central and state authorities established under previous laws such as the Water Act and the Air Act. So all this lecture about the environment activities, our environment puruskars, environment acts, and environment's andolan. So after getting, I hope you may get the knowledge about the introductory knowledge about the environment, so as we go proceed in following lecture how our environment is polluted and how we can maintain the polluted environment or control the pollution which is entering in the environment. Thank you.